Hello everyone, my name is Chris, and I wanted to go over the basic development of my new Mario fan game, Mario and the Ghost Tower. I conceptualized it years ago back in 2022, with on and off development ever since. Originally, the game was being made in ClickTeam Fusion 2.5, before I switched to the defunct XNA framework in 2024. Now, in 2026, it's being made in Monogame, an up-to-date version of the previously defunct framework, which, believe it or not, Terraria uses. Well, Terraria uses FNA, which is a different recreation, but we're not getting into that. So here I am, ready to make my Mario fan game from scratch. And I figured the best original Mario game to base it off of would be Super Mario World. It's a bright, colorful game with fantastic controls, often regarded as just as good as Super Mario Bros. 3, if not better. Now that you know the basic foundation of this fan game, let's get into it. I was inspired by What a Mario World, a largely popular ROM hack of Super Mario World, and Wally Mario, another lesser-known ROM hack being developed by my friend River347. So I figured it'd be really fun to actually give myself more game development experience. I'm currently going to college for computer programming, and if I want to get into video games, I have to teach myself about physics, momentum, and everything that makes platformers fun to play. So I opted for Mario, who's far easier to understand than the blue blur. Sorry, Sonic, but you're way too advanced for a beginner like me. Now, with a general idea of what I wanted to make, I got cracking on the actual game. Luckily for me, I didn't need to reprogram everything from scratch. I already had basic files such as sprites from previous projects that I could reuse. Things like drawing images to a screen, I didn't feel the need to code all over again, as recreating Mario himself would be a challenge in itself. And that I was definitely right about. I studied Mario's movement from how subpixels work on NES and SNES games to the exact decimal values that Mario should be moving at. Shout out to Y's videos on recreating Super Mario World in the Godot engine. While it's vastly different from how my 256 by 224 aspect ratio, being rendered at a much higher resolution using different formulas to calculate Mario's movement, his explanations of how Mario moves in the original game greatly helped me accomplish what I have here. Yep, what you're looking at was actually coded by me! He's definitely slippery, but I'm proud of it. And in the future, I'll be making ground, enemies, and more. And I want this to feel like Super Mario World. It's still incredibly unfinished as it stands, but I wanted to keep it faithful, so I focused specifically on making sure that everything was rendered pixel perfect. That's why on the title screen, if you zoom in really closely, you can see that the trees are moving in increments instead of buttery smooth. You might not like it, but I do. Not sure where I was going with that. And after programming the title screen's visuals, I added buttons. Now, a little secret about these buttons. They're actually text. Yep, I'm rendering text and detecting every time the player presses up or down on their keyboard. If down is pressed, then a secret number gets added to, and if up is pressed, the secret number is subtracted from. This number is the current button highlighted by the player, and depending on this number, it'll choose which button to display as selected. On top of that, we can use this number to decide what function will be ran when Enter is pressed. If the player presses Enter and the button selected is Quit, or in this case 3, the game closes. And that's my basic explanation of how the logic for buttons works, and hopefully it's understandable. This video is meant to serve less as a tutorial and more of my personal experience in attempting to learn video game development better. I'll release the GitHub repository as soon as this fan game is actually finished, but for now, I didn't want to leave you all with nothing in regards to Mario and the Ghost Tower. I have a vision in my mind for a gloomy, dark Mario horror game, and I wanted to finally attempt to make it a reality. Special thanks to my members, and I'll see you all next time!